You would think with Halloween just a couple days away from the recording of this, we'd do like a full Halloween edition of the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. But we're not going to do a full Halloween. We're going to focus on the sexy part of Halloween because that somehow seems to be what everyone is, sexy this and a sexy that.
Right. And whatever you just described sounds like work. And I don't want that sounds...
no one wants that.
I don't want to put that kind of effort into
not
this podcast together.
Yeah, that's why it's not on the radio.
Right.
Only people with effort get on the radio, and it doesn't account for anything. That's why we're too good for it. So let's get right into the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. We're going to start with a new game. Stop me when you think this is fake.
Just heard a dog bark.
Yeah,
did you hear that?
Yeah, yeah. Who let the dogs out? All right. So this is going to be Stop Me When You Think This Is Fake.
All right.
Okay. This is a story. It was a voice note posted to X, formerly Twitter. It went viral. It is talking about a disastrous pre-wedding celebration. It's unverified, and it's talking about basically a bunch of friends get together and do the combination of bachelorette party. All right, it's all in conjunction.
Oh, okay.
So they're all out for a night in the town in Amsterdam.
All right.
We all know what goes. Remember, stop me when you think this story's fake.
Right.
Okay. It starts. One of the girls was super drunk and went into one of those booths with like a glory hole. The recording says, after acknowledging the person speaking heard it through the grapevine. At this point, the person on the other side. So she's in the booth.
Yeah.
Right. You go in the booth. You know what it's there for.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm drunk. This is a bachelorette party, and the bachelor party. It's going to be so much fun. So I'm going to go in here.
Just wait for a customer to poke through.
And that's what transpired.
Okay.
Customer pokes through.
Hello.
What's going on? So, apparently, when in Amsterdam, remember, stop me when you think this is fake.
All right.
Apparently, when in Amsterdam, we're all drunk. It's the bachelorette party. We're going to do it. So, they start doing something to the thing poking through, having a little fun. Now, according to this voice note on the Twitter, there was allegedly designed in such a way in this particular booth that if a button was pressed by the people on either side, it would turn translucent.
Oh, God.
And you could see what was going on.
That's even scarier than not knowing.
Correct.
I think I know where this is headed, but I'm gonna ride along.
Stop me when you think this is fake. Remember,
Okay. Yeah.
It's not a real story. Okay.
I'm already suspect.
Being drunk, she thought it would be hilarious just to see who is on the other side. She pushes the button, and dun dun dun, on the other side is
The groom?
her dad.
Her dad! No, come on.
All right.
I don't even think that button is real.
I don't think any part of this is real. They said the horror of the realization led to the party being broken up. They went their separate ways. The girl has now fallen out with her family, and the mom is obviously upset and not speaking to the dad because he found out. Someone commented, I expected the worst, but this was far worse than even that. By the way, the Daily Star, who was reporting on this, could not verify if the story was true or not. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be fake.
While not impossible, it's pretty incredible, isn't it?
First of all...
It's almost too good.
Right. But first of all, Dad should not be putting his thing in that booth, even in Amsterdam.
Is there a reason why Dad would be along in the bachelorette party? I guess because he's part of the bachelor side?
Yeah, they don't get into the ins and outs of who's in, because sometimes family members show up in the bachelor party, and sometimes Dad shows up for a little bit, like, I'll go have a good time. But why he's doing that, unless he was, like, dared by other people. But, when I read that, I'm with you. I'm like, I don't know. There are many parts of that story I feel are fake.
Yeah.
One, I've never been to Amsterdam, so I don't know if those booths even exist. But that button seems like something that should not exist. If those booths exist, that button shouldn't exist.
Right. I think that sort of defeats the purpose of the whole.
Exactly. Of the whole thing. The whole thing is the anonymity, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah.
I think that's and there's so much of this on the internet where people invent a story just for the clicks.
Yes.
There's a great thread on Reddit called "Quit Your Bullshit."
Oh, okay.
Where they catch people just faking things. They go through their history and say, you weren't there and you're not really a woman. And, they completely piece it together and call people out on this. And there does seem to be this cottage industry.
Of course.
Of coming up with some amazing story to get some clicks on the internet.
That's not even.
And they're just vanity clicks. It's not like anybody's making money off of this thing.
Right. It's just to show, hey, look what it's basically that story right there is a 21st century Dear Penthouse forum.
You know what? Perfect example. That's a perfect example.
That's exactly what. And you know what? If you were to go back, if you're some type of weirdo that kept all those old penthouse, I'm sure if you went back and perused them, they probably got inspiration from one of those stories. Yeah. You're never going to believe what happened here.
It's probably that very story.
Yeah. Speaking of never going to believe what's happening here, someone found what they thought was a dead body, but it wasn't.
Police got report of a dead body dumped in the woods, and it was one of those stories that you always hear where somebody's out for a walk and they come across a dead body. Joggers always find dead bodies, or
inevitably. By the way, that just says stay away from the woods.
Yeah.
I know there's all these people like, oh, nature's so freeing, and I love hiking. No, don't hike,
or just stop exercising.
I mean, exercising's good for you, but don't do it in the woods.
So they call the cops. There's a body in the woods. They close off a road for 31 hours to seal off the crime scene.
I was going to say, I hope it wouldn't take that long to find the body, considering someone already found it and then called the authorities.
No, they just wanted to keep the area
clear.
Secure,
we don't want,
and they
want
to make sure this is an investigation now, and so no.
Shut it all down. Just shut it down.
They call in a forensic pathologist.
As one would do.
And he goes in there and starts poking at this
around.
body, doing the thing. I think it's been dead for
how long?
18 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Feeling for a pulse. It's cold. It's whatever. It's this. It's that.
And this is taking place in the UK in Clyngton, Warwickshire. And the pathologist says, "It is with great relief that I can announce that the pathologist was able to identify that the foot and hand beneath the bush did in fact belong to a discarded and realistic life-size doll."
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't just throw something along like that along the. I mean, you can throw your garbage in the forest, but you can't throw that garbage in the forest.
When they finally drag the corpse out, they realize the blunder. The officers had a big laugh. It was very dirty, broken, and overused.
Oh!
So apparently whoever owned this thing
went to
just
town,
wrecked it, and said,
"That's why I had to throw it away.
This thing, I've gotten my money's worth out of this."
Can you imagine the amount?
Let the raccoons deal with it now.
Can you imagine the amount of time and effort it would take to get it off of the beaten path that far to carry a realistic sextile thing? Because it's not like they're, I don't know for certain, but it's not like I think they would be light. It's not like just 10 pounds you're carrying.
Yeah, right? It sounds like it wasn't one of those novelty blow-up ones, but he went the authentic. This thing is head to toe woman. This is my partner, and then finally, it occurs to a person, oh, how could I possibly? I can't put this in my garbage because there's going to be a hand sticking out of the dumpster.
That's going to look really sus.
That's worse. Yeah, someone's going to see it or find it.
So you have to then put it in a car.
Yeah. So he throws it in his trunk.
I'm trying to think too. This must not be a very highly traveled nature trail. If this guy, well, I guess you do it in the middle of the night, right? You put it in the trunk, you then carry it into the woods, and then throw it into the bush.
And it seems like he took some care to cover it up.
To make sure.
Tucked it under some shrubs and stuff. And then
so that it naturally deteriorates?
Put some leaves over it, and then he just said, okay, not my problem anymore.
See you later. How much, it's a question I don't want answered, but how much has to go on for them to say it was very overused?
Right. Because that was probably the first thing that alarmed the police, was that this thing's all disfigured and
everything else going on with it.
Ankles are up over its neck and everything, and
the joints are out of place and everything else.
Ew. Thing is folded in half for some reason.
Oh God!
For that authentic experience.
Right, exactly. Ugh.
And then he went, "Oh, I think I overdid it."
I think. And how do you come to that realization? Be like, well, last one with that one. Time to get a new one.
Yeah. Hey, I bought this from you a couple of months ago. I still got the receipt. I don't know. Can I exchange? Is there something I can?
What's your warranty on this thing? Yeah. The ankles are all out of joint on it now. It's just don't ask the questions. Don't ask why.
Yeah, I know your fist isn't supposed to go there, but hey, it seemed to work.
Things happened, and
next thing you know, her shoulder was out of the socket.
And it just the way that way transpired.
So I'm just saying, can we do this, or do I have to go to Yelp and complain?
1-star review. Moving on to another sexy story here in the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. This guy's name is just ridiculous. Let me take you to Washington State, where old Jad K. Shipman, that's Jad with a J.
Sure, yeah.
Jad K. Shipman was booked into Cowlitz County Jail on one count of first-degree attempted...
I don't think this story's real either.
I don't think there's a Cowlitz County with Jad K. Shipman. On first-degree attempted animal cruelty and one count of patronizing a prostitute. A Vice Unit detective from... yeah, that's an interesting combination, isn't it?
This recipe already.
Yeah, the Bellevue Police Department contacted the Cowlitz County Sheriff's Office, report a user, later identified as Shipman, was communicating with a person on a forum website where users can solicit prostitutes. So he goes on, I don't know, prostitutes are us, whatever it may be. He allegedly offered to pay $440 to a person to travel to Longview to touch him and his miniature horse sexually. Once again, let me say, not just him,
right?
But $440. Come on down to Longview and Cowlitz and touch me and my horse. Me and my mini horse have
I know
sex.
this is a little freaky, but this really turns me on when you do this.
Yeah, Shipman told the potential prostitute he was having difficult time finding a willing participant to join him as, quote, ready for it?
Yeah.
Last two gals I asked said it was noticeably outside their comfort zone.
Those are some smart ladies.
Yeah, what? Touching you and your mini horse is outside? Of course, it's outside everyone's comfort zone.
Of course it is.
For $440. A deputy arrived at Shipman's residence and saw two miniature horses on... Wait, now he's lying. Two on the property.
Yeah, it's a bonus. You know, it's like when they throw an extra donut in there for the...
I got a munchkin. Here you
got
go.
an extra one.
Hey, guess what? It's going to be a thruple. Me and two mini horses. A resident told the deputy Shipman was partial owner of the animals. So old Jad K. Shipman going on there on the old prostitute message boards. And I love how he so eloquently said, the last two girls I asked said it was noticeably outside their comfort zone.
We are quickly approaching, if we haven't already gone past the border, we're just at a point where sex just isn't doing it for us anymore.
Right, we're trying this these weird
regular
things.
Old, just normal Lutheran sex.
Doesn't
just the same boring vanilla.
Doesn't get when you go on a missionary. It doesn't doesn't get you anymore.
It just doesn't seem to do it, and we've got to start adding other things in there. And
Booths with translucent windows.
Yeah.
Horses.
You got to have your webcam set up. You got to. I mean, there's just not enough. It's just not hot enough for people, and I'm amazed that we've gotten there.
Well, here's an individual that kicks it old school style. It's an individual who says they're a teacher at an alternative school.
Okay.
Where each class has two teachers. I'm a 35-year-old female. My co-teacher is a 34-year-old female and is very in your face, in your business, and doesn't understand boundaries very well. She is always looking over my shoulder. She will straight up yank my laptop away from me and look at what I'm typing. If my phone goes off, she goes, "Ooh, who's that?" and things of that nature. I've gently tried to explain to her that I don't want her touching my stuff like that. And she'll say stuff like, "Oh, well, I'm an open book. It's no big deal." When I've explained less gently to her, she borderline cries and gets into an anxiety loop where she accuses me of being mean and or mad at her. I'm currently in a long-distance relationship, and my boyfriend and I rely on a lot of sexting to keep our relationship fun.
We have a horse.
Yeah, exactly.
We go in the woods.
Sometimes those gals are noticeably outside my comfort zone. You know what isn't outside your comfort zone? Nugenics. She'll like it, too.
Just take a sex doll, bend it in half.
Give it the old big hurt. And he's in a different time zone, so things I send him at night won't get responses until the next morning sometimes. Today, I noticed he was sending me text responses to photos I had taken last night about what they made him want to do to me.
Okay.
I want to point out quickly that there are no kids in the room at this time because they're working at the school, and even if one had wandered in, they're too short to get to my phone and too young to read. I decided to leave my phone on a tall standing desk, by my laptop while going to get a cup of coffee, knowing that the co-teacher will probably look at it because she's so in the face. And she doesn't know boundaries. So I got my explicit sexting going on my phone, and I know she's going to look at it, and that'll teach her a lesson.
Okay.
When I got back, my coach teacher told me in a very serious voice that I need to be careful what I'm doing at work because she saw my disgusting and inappropriate texts. I told her she wouldn't have seen it had she been not looking for them. Mm-hmm. And she said that wasn't the point, that she felt sexually harassed but wouldn't go to HR about it because, quote, children won't be able to handle a change of teachers.
And I was slightly aroused.
Yes. So the woman is asking, was she wrong to leave those sexually explicit texts open knowing that the co-teacher would look at them?
I think yes.
I don't think... No, if you know, there's a better way to go about trying to teach that woman a lesson that doesn't involve your sexting with the man in a different time zone.
Yeah, and there's just something... Yeah, it's like a setup, and she's trying to force something to happen, and I don't know that that's the way you prove a point.
Not in that particular regard, especially not inside of a school setting. I understand, she's very much like, well, no kids are around and they couldn't grab my phone. I still don't care.
Right.
If someone's all up in your business, there's better ways than going, well, I'm going to show them by letting them see all the seedy sexting we got going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I
appreciate the old schoolness of the sexting, though, as opposed to everything. To pose the other things we talked so far in this edition of the podcast, the sexting, I appreciate the old school of it.
You're right. It is pretty low on the list of freaky things.
Yes, that it is.
Good on them trying to keep it hot.
Yeah.
Keeping it hot in the phone.
You just don't leave it open like that. There was better ways to go about it.
Yeah.
To prove a point than just leaving it open for the person to find. Because that's the thing. You shouldn't be a busybody. But of all the things to look into, that would be, whoa, what's I don't need to see that. Put that down. Put that away.
If I'm ever fortunate enough to be in a position where I'm sexting back and forth with a woman, I think I'm going to get a dedicated phone just for that.
You want a burner sexter?
Yeah.
I think you need
that I keep in the sock drawer.
Yeah, I think you need it. If you're going to, I think if nothing else, thus far in this Too Good for Radio podcast, she'll like it too. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. I think if you're going to do the sexting and the hibbity-dibbity or the crank shots or whatever, the cootie-coo, boop-boop-boop or whatever pictures you take, I think you need a burner phone.
I think so too.
And by the way, cootie-coo, boop-boop-boop is a new thing. You're going to do the old cootie-coo, boop-boop-boop real quick.
Registered that domain.
Yes, perfect. And so let's move on now from sex here, and let's actually learn something. Let's do a little something educational here.
This is one of those things where I thought... It was when I discovered it, I thought, you know what? Shame on me for being so American-centric that I figured everybody did the same thing we do in the case of what do you call? Let's say you find an actual body in the woods,
not a weird,
not a sex doll, but you find a body in the woods. There's no identification, and they take it back to the police station, and they have to put a name to it. They always say, "Well, this is a John Doe
or a Jane Doe." Okay,
right.
Yeah, I'm like you. I just assumed that would be the same thing all over the world.
Universal.
Yes.
Very simple, very generic. Everybody sort of understands. But of course, in different countries, it's going to be different.
What do they like Jonas? Is it still like a John Doe or is it different names?
And that's what's so interesting here is that as you go around the world, you discover that every country, even English-speaking countries, have their own version of John Doe. For example, in Australia, you're a Joe Bloggs.
Joe Bloggs?
Or a Jane Citizen.
Good old Jane Q Citizen. Joe Bloggs? Like spelled B-O-L?
G-G-S.
Okay, Blogs.
Joe Bloggs.
Joe Blogs.
Yeah.
Doing another shimp on a bobby for Joe Blogs.
In Brazil, I love how exotic this is.
Oh, it's going to have to be.
Very, very sexy to be an anonymous person in Brazil.
I'm just going to start using it as my actual radio name.
You're either João de Silva or Maria de Silva.
Ooh, João de Silva. That is very exotic. I want to go, you know what? I want to go to Brazil just to pass away.
Similarly, in Argentina, Juan Perez or Maria Garcia.
Why are they changing the last name?
I don't know. It does seem like extra work.
Right, like Juan Perez and Maria Garcia. Like, could it just be Maria Perez?
Yes, it does seem like extra work.
I mean, at least here in America, we do John and Jane Doe.
Right.
They're related.
In Algeria, you're Ahmed Belkdam. or Fatima Khalifi.
Once again, why do they have to have the different names? Fatima Khalifi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saudi Arabia, Ahmed Al-Abdili or Fatima Al-Matruri.
Okay. Must not be a lot of those over there in Saudi Arabia.
In
Is there anyone actually last name Doe in America?
I don't know. That's
DOE?
I'd love to know the history of that, of why we've chosen that.
Because I'm pretty damn sure there's a Garcia and a Perez in Argentina.
That's a good point. Similarly, in Russia, we've got...
Oh, God. Brutus Bear? Masha?
That would be good. But no, we've got Ivan Ivanov and Anna Ivanova.
That just seems like Bodie McBoatface version of Russian. I tell you what, we have unidentified body here in Russia. What do we call it? That's Ivan Ivanov and Anna Nanimov.
See, another one that I would suspect you'd bump into in South Africa, it's John and Jane Smith.
God, there will be a lot of those.
In Egypt, it's Ahmed Hassan and Fatima Ibrahim.
It's not Tut. It's not Tut and Cleo.
Cleopatra.
We got another John Tut.
That makes sense.
A John Tut and a Jane Cleo.
Because that's not something you're going to run into, right?
No, I'm pretty sure there's not a John Tut over there.
I would hope not.
No, or Agamemnon or something.
John Tut.
And Jane Cleo.
Peru, Juan Lopez and Maria Gonzalez.
Okay. A lot of Maria and Juans. Very, very much John and Mary.
In North Korea,
Kim Jong-un.
You're not far off. It's Kim Jun-young and Park Yoon-mi.
Park Yoon-mi. Park Yoon-mi. Park
Yoon-mi. Excuse me.
Park Yoon-mi.
Yeah.
Don't mean to step all over your toes there, Park Yoon-mi.
I would think that I'd have, I don't have like any of the other interesting European countries like Germany.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Hans
Gruber.
Yeah.
Do they have any of the Nordic ones? Like, I imagine it's like a Bjorn Bjornsson and, Hanna von whatever it may be.
I don't know. I'm looking up the in Belgium, Germany, Italy, and Serbia, they go with Nomen Nominidum.
Nomen Nominidum? Nominidum?
Yeah. Let's see what other variants there are. We got a John Stiles and Richard Stiles.
Dick Stiles?
Yeah.
There we go, old Dick Stiles in there.
There's some other variations. In Massachusetts, they used to go with Mary Mo.
Okay.
Sounds like
okay, Mary Mo. Wasn't that in a song "New Age Girl" by Dead-Eye Dick?
I think so. I'm trying to find some other.
I just want to know what if you know the Nordic versions, comment below or send an email to mike@wmay.com. So we learned some things here today. Ivan Ivanov and Anna Animoff. Anna Banana Fofana.
It looks like they use John Doe.
Over in Sweden?
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah. That's because that's the right way to do it.
I thought it'd be like something like Jonas, whatever it may be. Jonas Hinderland or something.
Yeah. Somebody here is they're called placeholder names.
Yes, until they find out.
And sorry for making you wait, but it's a podcast, and I don't think that anybody's really
we'll take a quick break from our sponsor, Nugenics. If you're looking for something for somebody in your life that you don't really care too much about, but you care even more little about their romantic partner, it's Nugenics, because she'll like it too.
Okay, in Germany, the equivalent would be Max Mustermann and Erika Mustermann.
See, at least they do the same last name.
Right.
But Max Mustermann.
And what do you want to know? Sweden?
Yeah, Sweden.
The closest Swedish equivalent of John Doe is they just say nomen neskio, which is name unknown.
Okay.
Common first names infrequently used as placeholders are Kali or Lisa.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be Jonas or Sven.
I did too.
Sven Svensson. Sweden, if you're listening. I know we get a couple of stray listeners from Sweden. Change your John Doe to Sven Svensson.
Yeah. Ooh, in France, we've got Pierre-Paul Jacques and Pierre-Jean Jacques.
Ooh, that's exotic too.
Sounds like a painting of something.
Exactly. Paint me like your French John Does. It is.
So don't say you haven't learned anything.
That's right. And if some of those things we talked to were a little noticeably outside your comfort zone, we'll try to do better next week.
What are you going to do about it?